Preparation is vital. No detail can be overlooked. And the ritual is intoxicating.
So I've really enjoyed the first season of Dexter Original Sin, the prequel to the original Dexter series. So much so that I went back this past week and a half and watched the entire OG series from start to finish. And with this recent viewing fresh in my mind, I figured I'd work on some videos related to the show, starting with a quick ranking of every season from worst to best. Minus Original Sin, as that series is yet to be concluded in its entirety. Even though the first season is done, it's more than likely coming back for other seasons, so I won't count that right now. So, with that being said, we have 8 seasons of the original show plus 1 season of New Blood, which makes a total of 9 seasons. Let's get started. Number 9, Season 8. Now this season is so incredibly hard to get through. I remember watching this one as it was airing in 2013, and as each new episode was released every week, I could just feel the once vital enthusiasm I had for this series drastically waning. By this point, the original showrunner Clyde Phillips had departed for half of the series run, and by that 4th year after his departure, the Dexter we knew from Season 1 was unrecognizable from what we were presented with in Season 8. Everything was so half-assed during this season. The acting felt like it was barely being phoned in by everyone. Even Michael C. Hall seemed pretty slight. I mean, he didn't seem slightly off. He was off. Let's just be realistic. I don't think he had much enthusiasm for playing the character those last 2 or 3 years, if I'm being honest. I think a lot of people would agree with me. But I digress. The whole thing about Dr. Vogel knowing all about Dexter's true nature, with her having created the code with Harry, and her son Oliver Saxon, aka the brain surgeon, being the final big bad, was so convoluted and sloppily executed, I don't even know what to say. There was way too much focus on Hannah McKay, who I never cared for as a character since she was introduced back in Season 7. Never liked her. And of course, the infamous lumberjack ending, which we now retroactively know as the first Dexter finale, according to the showrunner. This was the series at its absolute lowest point. What a mess. Number 8, Season 7. Only slightly better than Season 8. This season had a lot of shit wrong with it as well. The whole story was, I don't even know where to start. The whole thing with Isaac Serko and the Ukrainian mob was so out of place in this show. It made no sense and was focused on way too goddamn much. It felt like Dexter as a series was truly having an identity crisis at this point. It forgot it was Dexter and started to think it was fucking Miami Vice. Also, Hannah fucking McKay. This character felt like she was shoehorned in just for the sake of giving Dexter a love interest. I don't buy this character or this relationship at all. Not one bit. This season did have a few plot points that make it superior to Season 8, mainly the fallout and aftermath of Deborah discovering Dexter's secret, with LaGuerta not that far behind, and a personal favorite of mine, the Ray Speltzer kill. But outside of that, this season leaves much to be desired. Number 7, Season 9, New Blood. Now, this season was a major improvement over Season 7 and 8. Personally, I much prefer the new setting over the old one. I love the cold personally, and I hate the heat in real life, but I wasn't the biggest fan of how Jennifer Carpenter was utilized in this series. Now, I know this ghost version of her is an internalized manifestation of Dexter's guilt over her death, so technically it makes sense, but still. They spent so much time during the last 2 seasons of the original trying to have Deb reach a place of acceptance about Dexter's true nature, and we seem to have finally got there by the last few episodes of Season 8. So to see her take that complete opposite stance in New Blood felt a bit disappointing, but I get it. It's just a minor issue. The real problem I had with this season was the goddamn ending. It was approached a million times better than the original finale was, but it still felt hollow due to the final moments. Now, I know the writers thought that this was making up for not killing Dexter the first time, but somehow actually killing him in this manner didn't come off as feeling much different. I know that ultimately this is of no consequence given the sequel series that's coming out in June, but hey, at the time we were led to believe that this was the end of the road. That Harrison killed Dexter and the story was done. So my criticism is based on the information that we, the audience, were given at the time. Number 6, Season 3. Now, in all fairness, this was a really good season. Dead center in the show's golden era. Jimmy Smits was great as Miguel Prado, but the main issue I had with this one is the lack of commitment. The dynamic between Miguel and Dexter was excellent. Hall and Smits really have good chemistry on screen together, but it felt like every time they took one step forward, they took 2 fucking steps back. They never fully went all the way with the Miguel-Dexter thing. If they were going to have Dexter have a friend/protege for his extracurricular activities, then he should have actually been part of said activities on a more regular basis in all aspects. Now, I know he technically let Miguel kill that one person. Yeah, that was cool, but it was kind of obligatory for the story that they were setting up. If they didn't even show that, then nobody would have bought it at all. But outside of that, a lot of the time, Dexter was just preaching the code, and Miguel just was doing his own thing on the side until Dexter was forced to take him out when he became too much of an issue. Now, it would have felt more satisfying had Miguel actually been involved with more of the process, and then to have him turn on Dexter later on after they had, got in deep into the situations together. But I don't know. I guess they decided not to do that for some reason. I don't know. This is a good season. It's not a. I have mixed feelings about it. I like certain aspects of it, and certain aspects of it I don't like. It's kind of like with season 2. But we'll get to that. It just felt like kind of a wasted potential, I'd say. Not a bad season, not a good season. I guess it deserves this. Number 5, Season 6. Now, I know the general opinion of the fan base is that this season was a little bit over the top. In some aspects, I can see why. But I'm being honest, I really liked this season quite a bit. In fact, it was the last one of the original 8 that actually felt like the series that Dexter was in the beginning, thoroughly up through the entire season, because once it hit season 7 and 8, it felt like a completely different show. Now, was the Doomsday Plot a bit out there, given the attempted commentary on the state of the real world at the time? Yeah, maybe. I mean, this season did come out in 2011, and we all remember the whole world is going to end in 2012 hysteria of the period, so I understand it from that point of view. Also, the whole religious aspect with Mos Def and Dexter was pretty fucking weird. But outside of that, this was a pretty solid season. Yeah, Colin Hanks certainly wasn't the most fearsome villain Dexter ever faced by any means, But the reveal that he killed Professor Geller and was acting alone after making the audience think they were working together was brilliantly executed, if you ask me. The reveal that Geller was just a manifestation of his own dark passenger the same way that Harry is for Dexter was something I did not see coming. And now knowing that information, when you go back on rewatch and start the season all over again, it's actually pretty fucking genius the way it was executed, because all of a sudden, every scene with Travis and Geller takes on a different context when you know that he's not actually talking to anyone. Plus, the kills that he pulled off were some of the most creative that the show had ever done. But what really makes this a must-watch season was the ending. The ending where Deborah catches Dexter in the middle of his killing ritual as he's about to dispose of Travis Marshall. No, when I saw that, I could not tell you how fast I rushed to watch the season 7 premiere. Maybe not the greatest season narrative-wise overall, but it definitely has its moments, as well as the second best finale of the entire show. Number 4, Season 2. I know. You're wondering, how could I possibly put this season at the number 4 spot? And I hear you. It's a great season by all accounts. Except for one thing. Fucking Lila. Good God, do I hate this fucking bitch. What an annoying pest of a character. I don't care what the writers want to say. I don't buy the romance between these two characters for a minute. Just like the romance storyline with Hannah felt unbelievably forced, same goddamn thing here. There's no way that I believe that Dexter would ever fall for a crazy piece of work like this. I know he's a psychopath, but come on. On top of being irritating as hell, there is no way Dexter didn't see that this lady was trouble from a mile away. And it's so weird because the main story of the season, being Dexter trying to lay low while the FBI and cops hunt for his Bay Harbor butcher persona, is amazing. The confrontation with Dokes when he actually finds out the truth about Dexter had been building since he became increasingly suspicious of him throughout season 1 into this season. Some of the show's best writing were the scenes with Dexter just talking to Dokes while holding him as prisoner in the cabin. That main part of the story and the Lila part of the story seemed like they were miles apart from each other, worlds apart from each other even, until the writers needed them to converge when it suited them, like Lila being the one to blow up Dokes. A cool scene to watch visually, yes, but the man deserved a better death than that. All's good by the end though, with Dexter killing Lila, reuniting with Rita, and clearing any suspicion that he was the true Bay Harbor butcher. So, all's well that ends well. Number 3, Season 5. So this season has always been a controversial one amongst the fan base. Some people think it's a great season, some say it's where the series started showing its cracks. Personally, I'm more in agreement with the former. Now, I thought this was a great season, personally. Seeing the aftermath of Dexter having to deal with Rita's murder and everything that came with that was cathartic to watch. Especially when he goes on a mission to help Lumen take out the pieces of shit who abused and tried to kill her and all the other Barrow girls. It was a different approach for this show. Instead of one big bad and some smaller kills throughout the season, we get 5 big bads, and the bonus of Dexter truly having a partner to not only kill with, but to really connect with. They both found each other after enduring severe individual traumas in their lives, and I wish that Julia Stiles had stayed on the show longer. But story-wise, it makes sense why she didn't. Now, this was the first season without showrunner Clyde Phillips at the helm, but it wasn't very noticeable as most of the original creatives outside of Phillips were still involved at this point with the show. Something that would change drastically in the final seasons. But as for this one, I think it's a lot better than people give it credit for. Number 2, Season 1. Now, as far as inaugural seasons of television go, this is one of the best, like up there with the first seasons of Sopranos, Mad Men, and Hannibal. The chemistry between the cast, the magnificent set design, which, by the way, I recently found out was shot in California, not Miami, and the twist of having Deborah's physician fiance be secretly both the eye struck killer and Dexter's long-lost biological brother. I watched this season with one of my best friends, and we both couldn't believe that there was a show like this on TV at that time. The cat and mouse game between Dexter and the eye struck killer before the identity reveal at the end of the season always had me on the edge of my seat, and still does when I rewatch it. Just the first 5 minutes of the pilot will have you asking yourself, what the hell am I watching? In the best way possible. And number 1, my favorite season of Dexter's series, Season 4, the Trinity Killer season. Now sometimes you come across a piece of art so impactful that it transcends words. That's the case here in the best example possible. I will always believe that this is one of the single greatest seasons of television ever produced and shot on film. Every moment of every episode, from the premiere of the season to the season finale, is flawlessly executed. The writing is the best that it's ever been in this series. John Lithgow plays the greatest role of his career here. Now, I grew up watching Third Rock from the Sun as a little kid in the 90s, and he was hilarious as Dick on that show. So when he showed up on Dexter as Arthur Mitchell, aka the Trinity Killer, I was not expecting a character like this. He really proved his range and versatility with this role. He played this character so terrifyingly. It's like one of the best performances ever. The way that the story shifts once Dexter realizes Trinity is a family man with a wife and kids is exciting, because you can just feel how interested Dexter genuinely is on learning how to keep this facade afloat, I guess you would say, from Trinity. And as he unravels more and more, you're just eager for that moment when Dexter finally gets him. And what a finale. My God, talk about a poetic full circle fucking moment. Dexter finding Rita as Trinity's surprise final kill was a heartbreaking moment, with Harrison in the same exact situation Dexter was in 30 years prior, born in his mother's blood, as they say. And that's what makes it so goddamn good, because the way you experience this episode, and really the entire season as a whole, is completely different the very first time you watch the season compared to when you watch the season on repeat viewings. Because once you know that Trinity secretly kills Rita before Dexter kills him, and Dexter doesn't know, it brings on this lingering frustration during the rewatch, because you know what's coming. And you're just like, fuck, if he had just killed this son of a bitch any of the dozen of times that he had the chance to throughout the season, then Rita wouldn't have died. And knowing that just colors a lot of the scenes differently, especially the scene where Dexter tells Trinity that he has a family too before he kills him, and Trinity just smirks with a laugh while turning his head. Now, you don't think anything of it when you're watching the season for the first time, but when you rewatch it, it just takes on a whole new nuance. That shit is so chilling. Now that you know that he knew in that moment that he truly had the last laugh. I could go on and on and on about all the things this season does right as both a season of Dexter and a product of TV's golden age. But we'd be here all damn day, and I don't have a tendency to keep things short. If I go on too long, I can get a bit long-winded if I don't catch myself. So with that being said, I'll call it here. So at the time of this recording, the prequel series, as I said in the beginning of the video, the Dexter Original Sin, has just now ended its first season and has already been announced for season 2, later this year, likely in December again. But also, Michael C. Hall and James Remar and David Zayas and Jack Alcott and a bunch of other people are currently in New York, I believe in Buffalo, if I'm not mistaken, but they're right now shooting in New York the sequel series Dexter Resurrection, which will be airing in June later this year. So we have that to look forward to. And then, of course, after a few more seasons go on for both the prequel and the sequel, I will have to do an updated video on this, ranking the seasons, but right now, I'm basing it off of what we have. So yeah, just look forward for the new show in June, and we'll take it from there. Now, what's your list of worst to best Dexter seasons? I'm curious. Please let me know in the comments. And if you like this video and similar related content, I kindly ask that you leave a like and comment, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with anyone you feel who may be interested. Until next time, everyone, be safe, take care of yourselves and each other.